3, 2, 1. All right.
Let's get it.
So, welcome in. Took a week off. A lot of things happened this weekend, Cole. A lot of things happened, and we got a lot to go over.
A lot to talk about.
So let's just dive right in. So let's go and recap our picks from last week. Let's see where I put them at. Everything's out of order up here. Here we go. So, week 1 picks, we both went 1 and 2 the first week. But when it came to the second week, I actually didn't do too bad. But stuff did happen. So, we got a bunch of stuff to go over. All right. So let's talk about it. We had Texas and Alabama in the morning last week, and Texas hung in there for the whole entire game. Took the lead late with 1:52 to go on a field goal to bring the score to 19 to 16, or sorry, 19 to 17. And Bryce Young led Alabama Crimson Tide down the field for a game-winning field goal as time kind of expired there, and Alabama escaped Austin 20 to 19. What are your takeaways from that game in particular?
It was a good game. I mean, with Quinn Ewers going down early, that definitely hurt Texas a lot. I feel like if they would have had him, they'd have had a better chance to win. I mean, defense played great. Hold Alabama to 20 points. That's a great showing from their defense. They were in Austin, Texas, but that, I mean, is a little bit of an advantage there. But nonetheless, Texas played a great game. I think it should be a good boost for them for the season. Alabama played a great game as well, so.
Yeah, I think that when you look at this, from the inside out here, like you said, with him going down, I think that was kind of the big thing. Was you had the injury in the first quarter. He threw for 134 yards, almost had a touchdown. It was dropped in the back of the end zone by Xavier Worthy, but had a chance at really putting together a really good stat line. Then obviously you have the joint injury to the shoulder in 4 to 6 weeks, getting the surgery done this last most recent week. And really just kind of having to put Hudson Card in that situation. I mean, and you could see the offense was impacted pretty greatly with him coming in.
Definitely.
How do you feel about this week's game against UTSA? Do you feel like the Roadrunners have a chance here to do something, or are we looking at Texas probably regaining a foothold this week?
I mean, the Roadrunners are a great team, as they showed last year. They won the conference, I believe. If not, they were close. So they should put up a good fight. I still feel like Texas will definitely come away with a victory by at least 2 touchdowns, but they're going to put up a fight. The Roadrunners they're not one to be messed with right now.
Yeah, and we'll kind of see how they open up that offense for Hudson, because they weren't really taking a lot of shots down the field with them. They were really kind of leaning on Bijan Robinson a lot on the football, and they were also kind of just dinking and dunking it, and trying to get Worthy open in space, and other receivers kind of short with those little nickel and dime passes. So we'll see if he ends up having to unload the ball down the field a little bit more and see, how that goes. Because the funniest part about this is the fact that we had people in Texas that were tweeting about Hudson Card being the starter a day before Quinn Ewers was announced as starter.
Yep.
And they said, this quarterback competition is close. But when you look at him on the field compared to what we saw with Quinn Ewers in that first quarter, it's obvious that they weren't even close.
It's a big gap. I mean, Ewers definitely, even being a younger guy, he's just more talented. He's more athletic. He can find the better position to put the ball. Card's a great athlete. I mean, he's going to get it done sometimes, but it's a big loss for Texas, and hopefully Ewers is back sooner than later.
Yeah, and they said maybe by Red River, so we'll see how that goes. But that was kind of the marquee game of the day, but plenty of games following that were good as well. So let's kind of hit on a couple of quick ones here. Number 12, Florida, we didn't really get to talk about this, but they jumped 20 spots from 31 to 12 last week after beating Utah.
We did not like that.
Yeah,
we did not like that.
We were not a fan. If we had had an episode, you would have heard us absolutely irate about the fact that we thought that Florida was 100% overrated, and we really thought that, the SEC bias was kicking in a little too hard, and that may be even more evident this week because sure, we like to give Florida their dues. They beat Utah, at home, good for them.
Yeah.
But when you look at Utah, it kind of exposed them, right? Like what are your opinions on Utah now as a team as a whole here in the Pac-12 with a rising USC team and Oregon supposedly back on the right tracks after dropping 70 against Eastern Washington this last weekend?
They're a solid program. I mean, as they showed us last year with the same returning starters, they're a really good team. So, I mean, I don't think Utah is one to be messed with, but they're definitely not as good of a team performing. They could pick it up as the season progresses, but right now Utah's looking slacking a little bit. So I feel like they just need to pick it up.
Yeah, really a tough deal for Utah. A really tough deal for Utah because you kind of look at that game as kind of a statement game for them because that was the one that kind of was supposed to solidify them as like, ooh, like, this team's kind of scary, and ended up being like, damn, like, maybe they're just not as good as they were last year when they were, drubbing Ohio State before their starting quarterback got hurt. So definitely kind of a different opinion there. They might be the second or third best team in the Pac-12 right now. I mean, you look at USC, they haven't played anybody, right? Like, they haven't played anybody, so we can't really say anything about that. There was a graphic today that I sent you about them being the most efficient offense in the country right now.
I saw that.
Like, who the hell have you played, though? Like, you played Rice, and you played, Sister of the Mary, whatever, before then, and you played a Stanford team that went 3-9 last year. So you didn't really, you didn't really play anybody of like worth, and you almost lost that game against Stanford because they came back and cut that lead to like 13 or 14, and then didn't score again. But neither did USC. So it was kind of like, it wasn't impressive enough for a win for me to be like, oh, like, yeah, like they're going to dominate. But when you look at their line of work compared to Utah's line of work, it's like maybe they're kind of on the same level. For me, it just makes me excited for when they play each other.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for USC to play some competition. Also jumping over a little quicker into the Big 12 with OU. I feel like they haven't had much competition either. So USC, OU, I feel like they're just getting a little overhyped right now. Even with the rankings, I feel like they're a little high. They haven't played anybody, so we're waiting to see, especially this week with Nebraska, Oklahoma. Yeah, should be a big competition there.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a second. Let's go back here to Nebraska this last week. They lose to Georgia Southern, and then cut Scott Frost.
We saw that coming.
No, I mean, we thought Scott Frost would be gone, but we thought they would at least wait till October 2nd for that buyout,
for the buyout.
Be as high as it was. I mean, you're paying this guy an extra $8 million to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
Which, to me, says more about, them being just so dissatisfied with what he was doing. And then you had the rumors of him, going and using the golf facilities. Just, to the point where the golf team's complaining to the AD. He's getting too drunk to show up to meetings. Like, I mean, it didn't look good for a guy that went 13-0 at UCF.
Yeah.
And, shared the national title with, whoever won that year. But it's like, You look at the line of work that he's done in Nebraska and losing all those close games. I mean, 5-23 in games that are decided by 10 points or less. The last 10 games decided by 10 points or less have all been L's that you've been holding at the end.
Right.
So something obviously not right there. And that kind of transitions to what you were saying, which is this is a big week for OU because we don't know what Nebraska team we're going to get this weekend.
Right.
If Scott Frost had stayed, we might be a little more comfortable than we are now because with whoever's stepping up in that interim head coach position, I can't remember the dude's name. I don't know if it freaking matters.
I have no clue because who's taking over.
Well, the thing is if they do win, if Nebraska does miraculously win this game, that solidifies this person as a possible coaching replacement, right?
Because for sure.
You've been able to do
a huge
something
win.
that Scott Frost isn't able to do. Win against a top 10 team at home. Do something to bring confidence to the fan base again. So that really is make or break for that. For whoever's filling that gap,
Definitely.
This is his weekend to try to make his mark
for sure
in that program. For OU, it's like take care of business,
yeah,
right? Like
definitely.
Like this defense for Nebraska is atrocious. You allowed 40+ points, 45+ points to a Georgia Southern team that's not bad, mind you. So Georgia Southern not bad, but they're not world beaters. It's
the
Sun
Belt, right?
Yeah, the Sun Belt. Yeah, they're calling it the Fun Belt now because of what happened last weekend.
Yeah,
and
they're having fun.
Jump into that as well because Texas A&M huge loss to Appalachian State at home, and they fall all the way down to 24 after that, which begs the question: is Appalachian State a better opponent than Kentucky right now? Because I've got some thoughts on that because Florida lost to Kentucky as well last weekend, solidifying again our argument that Florida's an overrated piece of garbage and needs to drop out of the top 25 hotter than the hot oil grease. I mean, just drop out already. I mean, I just don't believe that they are at the level that is supposed to be competitive, and I think over the next coming weeks we'll kind of see them more and more exposed. They have UCF this weekend, so that should be a cakewalk, supposedly. Yeah. But if that game is close, I think they might punish Florida even more and drop them just maybe a couple more spots, even if they do win.
Yeah.
Because after that loss, Texas becomes ranked this week for the first time. Right. They lost by 1 to a number 1 ranked Alabama team coming into that game. Alabama drops to 2 after that win because, just a little disappointing, and Georgia hasn't done anything to convince you that they're not as good as they were last year. So,
for sure.
I mean, I kind of understand that. But you have Texas go from unranked to 21 this week.
Yeah.
We already talked about UTSA being a possible, it could be an upset. If UTSA hangs in there for 3 quarters, don't be surprised kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with a new quarterback starting and having to, go through that whole process of like, how well is he going to play? Like, when we've never put him in this position before, yada. But when you circle back over here to what you were saying, is this team in Nebraska willing to take that next step to really give OU a game this weekend? And I think that you could see a very rejuvenated Cornhusker bunch. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Texas A&M and Appalachian State. That game not looking good for A&M. Now,
very awkward for Texas A&M.
Yeah, and they did almost beat North Carolina as well, but North Carolina we know is supposed to be kind of middle of the road for the ACC. They weren't picked to be middle of the road, but I think that's where they're kind of going to end up. They're not bad, but the defense is pretty atrocious for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, backtracking a little bit on that Nebraska OU. I mean, I don't think Nebraska has anything to lose at this point. I mean, head coach is gone. Head coach is gone. They just lost their last 3 games now, or win, loss. So, I mean, nothing to lose there. They're at home. I mean, they're going up against OU. Nothing to lose there. So, you might see something crazy. I feel like OU, if they come in a little sluggish, you might see a good game there. So, could be close at the end.
Yeah, not surprising. And then we didn't really talk about this, but that first half against Kent State, only 7 points.
Right.
You ended up with 33, and you didn't give up any more than you gave up to start the game, which was 3 points. So it ended up being 33-3. But
Lincoln got on that ass at halftime.
Yes. No,
Lincoln said
Venables got on that.
Oh yeah, Venables. Sorry.
He's already forgetting the separation.
I'm already.
Yeah, already forgetting.
Venables, sorry.
It's going so well that he still thinks Lincoln Riley is coaching. It's going so well. There's like no seamless difference yet.
Wait, he left? I'm playing.
But yeah, no, I think that he did kind of be like, guys, I mean, this is Kent State here. Like we gotta. Like, this isn't even Syracuse at this point. This is Kent State.
Yeah.
So they kind of revved it up in that second half, but it did take a little bit to get going. You can't have that kind of performance in the first half against Nebraska this week. I just don't think you can.
Yeah.
Now, it could be 7-7 at the end of the first half, and I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah.
But I think that if it is going that direction, it's better for Nebraska if it goes that direction than OU.
True.
Because I think kicking it into gear against Nebraska would be a little harder than kicking it into gear like it was last week against Kent State. So
hopefully it's a good game.
Yeah, so that happened.
But number 6 Aggies, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, so
in Aggieville, right?
Woo, it was
What happened?
It was bad. So,
$1.6 million.
Yeah, you paid $1.6 million to get beat by Appalachian State. Now we knew Appalachian State wasn't bad.
No, definitely not a bad program.
Yeah, they have definitely this season put their foot down on the gas and kind of proved themselves to be kind of a formidable opponent, no matter who they're playing.
Yeah. But we're also talking about the Sun Belt. So.
Yeah, we're also talking about the Sun Belt, which is not a good look if you are supposed to be a top 6 team and supposed to be contending for a national title or at least a playoff spot this year. Like, that's supposed to be the 3rd best team in the SEC right there.
Go Aggies.
They're losing to Appalachian State.
And they're unranked now, right?
Yeah, no, they're 24.
They're 24 right now.
They're ranked this week. They play they play Miami this weekend.
Okay.
Miami's number 13 in the country, but I think they might be a little overrated as well. The ACC is kind of weird.
That is weird.
Because you still have Clemson as a top 5 team, but I don't think they're supposed to really be there. And I think they'll be exposed the more the ACC gets underway. NC State plays Texas Tech this week, and I think that could be a trap game for the Wolfpack because as high as people were on them, in the preseason.
Where are they ranked now?
13.
13, okay.
NC State is ranked 12.
12. Ooh.
They're up there.
The Wolfpack's up there.
I don't want to be wrong about this. I'm going to embarrass myself and look this up.
We gotta look. We gotta know.
I think that I know they're top 15 for sure. I don't know because I know Miami is 13, so they can't be 13.
Yeah.
I have the schedule pulled up here for the games this week, so
they won out, so they should still be.
Yeah, they
pretty.
haven't. They haven't lost yet. My ex-head coach of my Oregon Ducks doing a decent job at Miami, but let's see. NC State hasn't lost either. Where are they at? They are 16th in the country. So
Not bad.
They're at 16, which I think is kind of where they're supposed to be right now. But that game against Texas Tech could be pretty big. I mean, Texas Tech stormed the field after beating number 25 ranked Houston last week. So we had a lot of ranked teams lose. Is kind of the bottom line. But let's hit the biggest one, I think, and the team that fell the furthest this week, the Notre Dame Fighting Irishmen.
Can't forget about that.
To Marshall.
It's embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
Another Sun Belt team gets it done.
Yeah.
The Sun Belt turned into the Fun Belt, as we said last weekend, and beat up on a bunch of ranked teams.
Wow.
So that was a big development. I mean, that's big because Notre Dame now unranked.
Oh, for sure.
They fell to number 8 in the country after losing to Ohio State in a game where they hung in there for like 3.5 quarters.
Right.
End up losing by double digits. Like, didn't really seem like a big deal. You could still mark yourself as competitive at that point, but you can't go back home and lose to Marshall and drop to 0-2 and sit there and go, well, we still deserve to be in like the teens.
No.
No. You can't do that. And here's my argument here for the situation with Florida and Notre Dame. Why is Florida still ranked after losing to Kentucky? Kentucky was a top 20 team, and Florida was 12 going into last week. Kentucky now a top 10 team, maybe? Where are they at this week? I know
were they 11?
They might be 11. You might be right about that. I don't even know if they even play this weekend. They do, though, I feel like. Can't remember who it is, though. Kentucky. Where are you at, Kentucky? Where's that cheesy UK logo down here somewhere? They off this week? I think they're off this week. I don't see them.
I see them at... Where are they ranked at? 9?
9.
9?
Yeah. I think they're off this week because I don't see them on here. I think they have a bye week this week, so they're not playing anybody. At least not that I see on here. Yeah, nobody. I see 7. That's USC. They play Fresno State this weekend. That could be a decent game. I mean, Fresno State lost to Oregon State on a going for 2 situation that Oregon State could have passed on and just kicked the extra point, gone into overtime. So I don't know how much I trust the Bulldogs of Fresno State, but I think. Oh no, Kentucky plays Youngstown State at 11 o'clock this weekend. So the Penguins are about to get smashed. I
Go
would
Penguins!
Anticipate the Penguins to get smashed, but. Overall, I mean, number 9 in the country.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It's impressive. I think that Mark Stoops has done a good job, and I think he kind of deserves the praise he's getting so far this season. Just be careful. You've got a long way to go. You still got to play some powerhouse teams on the schedule.
Yeah.
Yes, this sets up for it to be a primetime matchup because you're not supposed to really lose any games in the forthcoming weeks leading into those big games.
Right.
So we'll at least see a top 10 matchup against Georgia or in Alabama this season for sure if Kentucky continues to win, which I assume they will. Big game for Spencer Rattler this week. They played number 1 Georgia, so we'll see how well Spence does there for the Game Chickens. That's also an 11 o'clock kick this week. But, circling back to this Notre Dame game and the fact that they fell out, I feel like Florida should also fall out because, you have 2 losses. You're 1-2. Your only win is against Utah. I don't know. You have USF this weekend, South Florida, the Bulls at home. Florida should take care of them pretty easily.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then I feel like they should fall even further. To be brutally honest, whether it's a couple spots. I just don't believe in the Florida Gators yet, and I think that if you're not going to believe in Notre Dame as hard as you are right now, which is dropping them from 8 all the way to like 27 or whatever, you shouldn't trust Florida either. I just don't. Because I don't know how good Kentucky is. Like, is Kentucky a top 10 team? Like, I don't know if they really give me that vibe. I know they are right now, but it's like
in the end,
yeah. In the end, like, is this going to be a season where we're looking back at Kentucky and they're like 8-5, and we're like, well, they started off 8-0. Like, is that going to be the kind of season, or is it going to be, a season where we're looking at Kentucky being like 10-3 and beating, maybe a Georgia, even though it wouldn't drop them out of the contention for the playoff, it would still be impressive for Kentucky and still, give them a boost. But I feel like if Georgia was number 1, let's say Kentucky stays at like 6 or 7 range.
Yeah.
That would only probably drop Georgia down to 2 or 3.
Right.
It's not going to drop them, especially if it's late this season.
Right.
So, I think that that's something to look forward to. But I guess let's just jump into this. We're gonna go ahead and do our $100 picks from the other week.
Yeah, week 3.
So we had you picking Georgia minus 16.5. You get your $10 back for that because that ended up being a blowout.
Cha-ching.
My Ducks did not hang in there. I don't know if I have my phone on me.
I can go grab one.
Yeah, go grab one for me. I'll fill time here. So Cole gets the win there. Good pick for him. I don't know. I feel like my Ducks played well, and by that I mean they played like trash. 3 points is not enough. You lost by 46. You looked terrible. I know that you rebounded against Eastern Washington, beating them 70 to 14 or whatever. But it's like, I feel like this week is kind of more of a telling week for us as we play BYU this weekend, and that'll be a game that I'll definitely be having tabbed up on my phone as I'm hoping my Ducks pull the upset. And I do think I'm going to pick my Ducks to beat BYU this weekend. So there's that to look forward to. So Cole on his picks against the spread. This is technically week 2, since week 3. This is our 3rd episode, but we're here week 3. Hey, excuse me, lady. Excuse me, big lady. The dog is making her presence known with her tail whacking against the blinds in the background. She is a good girl. So yeah, she knows it. So Cole gets that first one. He gets his $10 back with that one. Went on to do the Notre Dame Ohio State game. I had Ohio State minus 17. I did not hit that one. Cole also had $15 on that happening as well. We both lose money on that. Moving on to Utah and Florida. Cole with the win for Florida plus the 2.5 with his $5. So he had a total of 15 coming back to him. I lose on that one as well as I picked the Utah Utes to win that game. They did not, as we well know. NC State and Eastern Carolina. I had NC State minus the 10.5. Cole had $25 on the same, and I believe that game did cover. I think that NC State did win by more than 10. I'm checking right now to make sure. And then, excuse you. So let's see here. NC State. Diddly, they're down here somewhere. There they are. No, that was. This is coming back from week 1. This is technically week 1 games. Because they played Charleston Southern last weekend and then just rocked the hell out of them. Let's see. Here it is. This is Saturday. And it was NC State. Where are you, NC State? Where are you, NC State? Bum, bum, bum. Did you cover the spread? They played Eastern Carolina. Eastern Carolina. Where are you at? I don't see them, Cole. Where the hell are they?
We'll find them.
We'll find them. We will find them. Where are you guys at? Was it a Friday game? I'm looking at the wrong day of the week, aren't I? Friday. Is it a Thursday game? Man, I don't remember them playing on Thursday. So we already talked about that. And the Oregon Ducks. There it is. 21-20. Yeah, we both lost that. So we're not getting any money back on that. USC and Rice. That one. If we go back and look at that, I believe USC covered that 32-point spread. Take a gander here. 66-14. Yep, that's covering. So you get your $45 back from that.
Love it.
50, 60. So you have $60 this week.
Here we go.
And I lost all my money. So that proves how that went for me. It didn't go well. It did. So
$60 here.
Yeah, so $60 to play with. I'm in the hole $100. So I will get a new set of $100 and probably squander that away as well this week. But fuck everybody. I'm gonna try my damnedest. We went over our Heisman picks last week. Performances. Bryce Young's still at the top of your list or no after the game against Texas?
I gotta say I'm gonna stick with him for this. I'm gonna stick with Bryce still. Texas at home, it was a pretty tough going to Austin always, but he should pick it up in the SEC in the following weeks.
So, what are your thoughts on Bijan Robinson after that game?
I like him a lot.
Do you still think he's going to be in New York by the end of it?
Definitely. I mean, he had this.
Your 5 spot. Does he move up at all for you or no? Or you think he stays there? Because you've got.
Let me see his total stats for that.
Yeah, the box score from the Alabama game will give you a little bit of an. I think he had a decent day on the ground. I want to say he had 90-something yards or something, or he actually had a terrible day. 19 carries for 56 yards or something.
21 carries for 57 yards and 1 TD. We are talking Alabama's defense, but he did get a touchdown against them. I got him. I got him staying where.
One of the only touchdowns against.
I'll keep him where he's at for this week.
Okay, yeah, he had the only touchdown that Texas scored. The rest were all field goals, which is the other thing to talk about.
That is crazy.
Red zone offense is trash, probably.
Right.
Especially with Hudson Card. I think that's kind of part of it. But they settled for a lot of field goals when they needed touchdowns. I think if they would have scored or made that kick before half, that 26-yarder that Baker Shanks going into the locker room,
could have been
comes back to haunt you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you would have had that, Alabama would have needed 6 instead of 3 on that last drive. Not that I think they couldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been added pressure on that last drive. But so you still like him as your 5th?
I got him at 5 still. Yeah. That's getting any points against Alabama is impressive to me.
My boy McHale Wright. My Vanderbilt starting quarterback did not play well, but Sam Hartman came back for Wake Forest this last week after being ruled out indefinitely before the season started. He got his. I think it was like a blood clot in his lung or something.
Something crazy.
Up.
Yeah.
And they put the beat down on Vanderbilt and won by 20 this last weekend. And he didn't really play well. So he probably is going to fall off my list. Vanderbilt takes their first L of the season. I got to replace him with somebody. And I think that somebody might be someone you're kind of unfamiliar with. Is
not Spencer Sanders.
No. Well, it's tempting because the numbers are good, right?
Yeah, he's undefeated right now.
And you're playing Arkansas Pine Bluff this week, so I think you're going to not be adding the stats a little bit. I don't think he's done enough for me. I think I got to put Caleb Williams on there.
Okay,
now.
Fair enough.
I think putting him on there doesn't not make sense right now.
Yeah.
But until they play somebody that's ranked, I don't see a point in not putting him there because everybody else is going to put him there.
Right.
Jackson Smith and Jigba still number 4 on my list. Dylan Gabriel still 3 on my list. Bryce Young still number 2 on my list. C.J. Stroud probably still leading for me right now.
Okay.
You've got Stroud at 2 and Jackson Smith and Jigba at 3 and Caleb Williams at 4.
Let me switch Caleb and Jackson for right now. I'm gonna keep it like that.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna put Njigma at the bottom.
Okay.
I felt like a little disrespect, but not really. He didn't have the numbers I was looking at, but I will stick with Bryce at 1, C.J. Stroud 2. My 3 will be Caleb Williams, and I'll have Bijan 4, and then 5 will stick with Jackson. I got to see more numbers. I got to see more numbers out of Ohio State. Should happen, but we'll see.
You still got Bryce at 1?
Yeah. Caleb, of course, climbing up. He's getting the stats. He's getting the wins.
Yeah, the stats are kind of what's getting him more notoriety. I still have CJ at 1. I still have Bryce Young at 2. I've got my 3rd still being Dylan Gabriel because I believe.
Okay. We'll see when Big 12 play rolls around.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
How Dylan's holding up there.
Caleb Williams rounding mine off. So that's where we're at on that. So let's get into our $100 picks of the week. $100 picks. Okay, so I'm negative 100, so I need to win all these.
My guy's in the red.
Yeah, I am negative $100 as I lost every single pick.
Hey, I did go down 40. That is kind of tough.
Yeah, Cole did go down 40.
I still got my 60 though.
But you still got another $100 now. So
right 160. Okay. 160 hey, here we go.
So you've got
it's a night of cheesecake.
You've got 60 right now, but you've got a new 100 to work with. So
here we go.
So you've got 160 to play with here, potentially. I'm going to go down and we're going to look at some of these spreads for these games this week because I think this is going to be a little bit more intriguing than you think. I'm going to go here.
We gotta start it off with the OU Nebraska.
All right, you want OU Nebraska?
We gotta start it off. That's the headline for sure. It's a historic rivalry in it. That has been a while since they played it. So
let's see what the spread is right here.
It's got to be OU, of course, winning, but I'm not sure what the spread is.
All right, CBS Sports Odds here has nothing to say. Where is this at? It should be. I don't know why I put spread. There we go. All right, so this is from Sportsbook Wire at usatoday.com. Come on, man.
Got OSU, OU.
OU is minus 10.5.
Hey, that's what I was figuring.
OU minus 10.
I was gonna say OSU, OU minus 10.
So that's game number 1 we're gonna do. Second game we're gonna do. I'm gonna put the Oregon BYU game on here because that's a ranked matchup.
Oregon BYU.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Hey, there we go.
It's gonna be a 2:30.
Your Ducks.
Pick. My Ducks have to win this.
It's gonna be a tough one. Is it at home or away?
It is at home. It's in Autzen Stadium.
Okay.
So BYU is traveling here.
Advantage Ducks.
Advantage Ducks a little bit here. Looks like my Ducks are a 3.5-point favorite. So Oregon.
I like that.
BYU
I don't know. BYU is solid, man.
Oregon.
I hate to do your Ducks like that, but
hey,
BYU is a solid. BYU is a solid program.
All right, so
coaching staff is great.
Put the money there. I'll just put minus. I'm gonna do 5 games this week. I don't know how many did we do that last week.
I think it was 5.
Yeah, we did 5 as well because we gave each other at least a $20. But we can. I got that as well, so we'll do that. Third game. What do you want the third game to be? Do you want?
So who we got?
We got you got Texas Tech versus NC State. We got.
I like that one. We could throw that on there.
That one? Okay, we'll do that one.
Might be an exposed season for the Wolfpack.
TTU versus NC State. What's the line on that? Look at that. From AZ Central. North Carolina State is a 9.5-point favorite. So NC State minus 9.5 in that one. What are you looking at for the fourth game here?
Looking at it on here real quick. I don't know why. I'm getting FCS games on here.
Hey, we're going wild card. I'm picking Bowling Green, brother, by 20 against the Citadel.
There we go. What are the other feature games I got? So I'm not seeing any popping up right here.
You've got UTSA and Texas. We got Miami. We have Miami.
There we go.
Texas A&M. That would be a decent one.
We'll pass on the Aggies.
Ooh.
Upsetting loss.
Ooh. Picking the L anyways, though.
I do actually like that because it kind of gives Texas. We'll throw that one on there. Texas A&M gives them a chance to redeem themselves.
Miami versus Texas A&M.
And let's throw. I feel like the only other game we could throw on there is UTSA with Texas. You know, it's going to be a good game.
Could be. It could be a game that's a little bit more. It looks like Texas A&M is minus 5.5.
Yeah. Every other game, I mean, it's pretty obvious to me.
Texas A&M minus 5.5. Okay. Um,
Yeah, I like those 5.
okay, so we'll do UTSA
All the other games are pretty much.
versus Texas.
I like the favorites on them.
Hey, I mean, not really. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I don't think you're going to get much action out of Penn State and Auburn. I don't think that Clemson, Louisiana Tech tickles my fancy. The U.S. State Fresno State game might be
Yeah.
a little bit closer than people think, but we'll go with UTSA and Texas. I think that's going to be an interesting line. Coming into this one, let's see. This is from Fansided. Let's do oddshark.com. Let me oddshark.com spread here. Looks like wow. Their predicted score is Texas San Antonio winning 33-28.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
what they said UTSA. It's Texas minus 12.5.
Okay.
Is the line for this game? Even with Hudson Card in, Texas 12.5 point favorite at home. So now is your chance, my man, to tell me how much you have to use all your money. Too.
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, I gotta use the whole 160. Okay.
160. Yeah,
wow.
We go all in here. We don't save anything. We're not saving anything. So OU Nebraska minus 10.5. What are you picking on this? You picking Nebraska plus the 10.5, or you picking OU minus the 10.5?
I actually like OU by a little more.
Okay.
I like OU. I think they cover that. So I'm gonna go 25. Or since I have 160, let's do 40. 40? Yeah, I like the Sooners here. With no head coach and just their previous losses, I see the Sooners, especially with the Sooners defense with Venables now, not Lincoln. I like
I'm gonna drop
I like the Sooners. I'm gonna drop 40 for the Sooners here. I think they got them by. I think they cover.
Yeah, I agree. I put 20 down on that for me being in the hole. Next one is Oregon versus BYU. Oregon minus 3.5 against the now higher ranked BYU Cougars after they beat Baylor over the weekend.
You're gonna hate me for this one.
BYU plus
I'm gonna go with my Cougars. Right. They're a solid program and they continue to get it done each week. So I like the Cougars here. I think they cover. I think it's gonna be close, but I think I got the Cougars. I got them pulling it out.
How much money are you putting down? What's your confidence level here?
I'm gonna put 20.
20.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna throw a 20 on it.
Still got 100 to work with.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with my Ducks still.
Of course.
And I think
we didn't see that going anywhere else.
Hey. This is gonna be the game right here that puts us back in contention here. I'm willing to go ahead and put 50 big ones on.
Woo!
I'm all in on this.
He's all in for his Duckers.
This is going to be the week that we really see what happens and how good this team really is.
He's all in for the Ducks, folks.
Third game is Texas Tech versus NC State. NC State minus 9.5 here. Who are we picking and how much money are we putting on this one, Cole?
This one's hard. I think Miami gets it done.
No, this isn't Miami.
Are the
Texas Tech and NC State.
Texas Tech, NC State. I'm sorry.
NC State minus 9.
Let's go Red Raiders.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and you like how much are you putting on that? You got $100.
Let's do a 20. We'll do a 20.
You got 2 more games left, so he's putting. Let's put 20 right here. 20 on that. All right. I kind of like Texas Tech too. They're looking kind of nice.
They had a good game.
This is very appealing.
Good game versus Houston last week. It did go to OT, but
it did go to OT. But hey, I mean,
it was a good game.
Yeah, a lot of good games last week. I got
go Big 12.
All right, I'm gonna put 15 on. I'm gonna put 15 on NC State. I think maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit more than I need to. But I kind of like either side of that pick. I don't really feel like either's a really terrible decision. Fourth game, Miami versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M minus 5.5.
I like that cover. Okay. I think the Aggies pick it back up. I feel like they had I don't know. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna go with the Aggies.
Okay, so you got Texas A&M minus 5.5.
And we'll throw another 20 on it.
Another 20. Okay, well that means you got to put big money on UTSA and Texas.
Oh yeah, I told you who I liked.
He's putting big money out there. I like Miami. I think that I think that you kind of see. I got 70. This is 85. I'm gonna put $10 on Miami here. To at least to make this game a lot closer than people think. And then last game, UTSA and Texas. Texas 12.5-point favorites here.
We're all in on Texas. I think they cover. Okay, so I feel like they get it taken care of. I mean, it's two different.
Yeah, so we got $60 on Texas. Okay.
It's two completely different programs here. I mean, even though their quarterback is out, I feel like we still do have a Texas W here.
Texas to cover.
Hey, go Roadrunners, though. I hope they do pull it out.
And I got
go Roadrunners.
$5 on UTSA.
Ooh.
Plus the 12.5. Maybe Texas only wins by 10.
Go Roadrunners.
So I'm pulling for the meeps over here to make something happen.
Go meeps.
Meep indeed. So we kind of went over that. We also kind of went over what to watch this weekend. Obviously, starting off in the morning, OU Nebraska, definitely one you want to be tuned into.
Definitely.
The game following that, also watch that. That's the Oregon BYU game at 2:30
Go Ducks.
Central, 3:30 Eastern. Hey, we need that win. And then later on in the evening, we have Texas A&M and Miami. Those are kind of the three that I kind of want to watch.
Yeah.
Personally, that kind of tickle my fancy a little bit. Other games that could be interesting: Fresno State USC could be a good game. UTSA Texas could be a little closer than I think. Texas Tech and NC State also ones to kind of keep your channel clicker tuned into, or
definitely,
tab over on your phone, however you like to watch your college football on Saturdays. So that's kind of what to watch. And then let's see, we've got top 25. Kind of hit on that a little bit with where everybody's at. I don't really have a lot of problems other than Florida still being in it. But it's
going to fluctuate throughout the whole season.
I think dropping Notre Dame out is a good decision.
Yeah.
I can't really have a lot of complaints with where like USC is, and where a bunch of those teams I haven't really played anybody really stand. I think that most of the top 25 I agree with right now. I don't really have many problems. And then as we continue to march on here, we have our Hiesman list updated. We got that out of the way. The only thing left to do really is give our locks of the week. So we did our $100 bets, but these are our locks, Cole. These are the ones that we feel most confident about. You can also dip into the NFL if you want to.
Okay.
You don't have to stay within the college football realm here with these. Last week, the only week that we really covered, we went 1-2 in those, and God forbid I can't find the page from last week that has any of our picks on it, so I don't even know what the hell we did. So that's going to be interesting to see the comments on that happening. Because we did actually make picks. Alabama, Utah State, and is that the ones that's what we're 1-2 from? I feel like, because I don't know if we're 1-2 from the Vanderbilt and Nebraska week, so we have to look at Oregon and Georgia, and then Alabama, Utah State, and Colorado State and Michigan. Because I think those were the games we picked. We had Oregon and Georgia, but Oregon and Georgia played. No, they didn't. They hadn't played at that point. We had talked about it the week before, anyways, and we'd updated that. So we talked about that. We didn't talk about Alabama and Utah State. We did pick Alabama to cover that, and it did cover. So we'll go and we'll add. I think I still picked Georgia to win the game, but I picked my Ducks to cover. So that's 1-0 on that. You went 1-0 because you picked that as well. We both picked Alabama to cover. That's 2-0 because they beat Utah State 55-0. So that covers the 41-point spread. We also picked Michigan to cover the 30-point spread, and I believe they did that as well. So we go at 3-0. So now we are both 4-2 on our picks so far this season as our locks of the week. So you're a winner.
Hey.
If you choose the S0ner Sportsbook, boys and girls, you're a winner. Those are the winners we gave in last week. Went undefeated last week.
Undefeated.
So on a recorded message, you can call this number. You can get our picks for this week because
take it to Vegas.
Hot right now. So go get yourself some lines here. I'm gonna kind of go and we had our first week of NFL action. Not really much to really go over.
Yeah.
We did kind of have an upset with the Seahawks beating the Broncos.
That was surprising.
We had Aaron Rodgers get absolutely demolished by the Vikings. That was fun to watch.
Upsetting.
New England got their dick slammed in by Miami. Didn't see that one coming.
Did not see that one.
Chargers get a win. Raiders get a win. It was an interesting week. A lot of close games. Steelers get the win over the Bengals on a third last-second field goal.
That was pretty shocking from
win that game at all.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of our NFL
synopsis.
Kind of synopsis of week one. Lots of upset people with their fantasy teams.
Yeah.
I know Jack sent you a couple of trades for some wide receivers.
Declined.
Wow.
He wants T. Higgins.
No, not happening. You need that. You need that. So here are 5 hours ago they released the odds here for week 2 on CBS. So I'm going to dip here into the NFL.
Might have to take a brief call.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be right back.
Let's go ahead and I'm going to fill here for Cole as he takes this phone call.
Be right back.
Look, the Chargers play the Kansas City Chiefs this game. Kansas City 4-point favorites. I like, to be honest, I really like, I'm going to go with this one. I like the Chargers +4 versus Kansas City. I like Justin Herbert. I like the way that LA plays on at home. I think that they have a good shot at winning this game. I think that's going to be one of my locks of the week. Now, dipping back into college football for my second lock of the week, I'm going to take my pick from earlier. And you can mark this down. I think this is going to be a winner through and through. I'm picking my Ducks minus the 3.5 versus BYU. I think that's a good call. And then some more lines to go through here. I think this one's also, you can mark this one as probably a winner here.
Go Titans.
Go Titans. Shit.
That's my team.
Damn. Well, they had a rough weekend missing that field goal to try to win that game. They are 10-point dogs against Buffalo this week. So,
ouch, we have to play Buffalo this week.
So, that's a rough one for you. I like this one right here. I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings +2 versus the Eagles. So those are my picks. I've got the Chargers +4 versus Kansas City. I like them to win straight up this weekend against the Chiefs.
Interesting.
Right with my boy Justin Herbert.
I guess.
These are some of the NFL
perfect
spreads I've got pulled up. I'm using my Oregon pick as my other lock. I think Oregon's going to beat BYU by more than 3. Mark us down to beat them by at least 7. I think BYU is kind of squishy. I don't think they're a hard lock where they're at ranked. And then my third pick is the Minnesota Vikings +2 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Just not a big believer in the Eagles being to travel into Minnesota and into that domed arena. And I just don't think Jalen Hurts is playing great, but I don't think he's playing terrible. But I just like the way Kirk Cousins is playing right now, and I think Justin Jefferson is just amazing. I mean, if you had him on your fantasy team, he blew up.
Yeah.
So he really definitely put in the work. So Cole, what are we looking at here? Are we going with any of your picks from?
I gotta go with 2 picks from the college football this week. I got the Red River rivalry. I do got my OU and my Texas for the winners this week. I know they're not playing the Red River, but
you're picking both of them to cover their
I got both my Red Rivers for the win.
You're picking OU minus the 10.5 versus Nebraska, and you're picking Texas minus 12.5 versus UTSA as your first and second lock. Your third lock.
I like my Rams taking care of the Falcons at home this week, minus 10.5. I I don't think the Falcons can get it done away.
ATL. Okay.
So it should be
third pick. All right. So
looking good.
That's locks of the week, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, 4-2 on the season so far. Locks week. Just added the NFL this week for the first time because last week there was no NFL. So, so now we have NFL picks to kind of mix in there, and we'll keep an eye on that. If anything really develops throughout the season, we'll cover it. No doubt about it. Good episode this week. Good to catch up with you. Good to kind of get everything kind of squared away from weeks 2 and just this last previous week. I say week 2, but really it was week 1.5 because last time we recorded before this, none of these big games have been played yet. We were still waiting
a lot happened.
For kind of the first week, and then obviously last week all those games, all those upsets coming to fruition. So good stuff there. Any final thoughts for you going into the weekend? Anything that you want to harp on that you want to touch before we get out of here?
I'm excited to get into conference play, but
sure.
And then this is the last week until conference play.
This is it. This is the last non-conference week, so we'll be talking conference play.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about conference standings, where we think these conference standings really need to shake out, kind of how we feel about certain teams that may be leading a conference that we feel like at the end of the season might be more in the middle. We'll cover that. We'll also cover top 25 action if anybody fell or gained big notoriety next week. We'll make sure to cover that. Obviously, we'll go over our $100 picks, and hopefully I'm not out $200. I've got money to pay back to the mob. At this point, Cole has had house money to work with. He is
I need it all.
Hard, though, on his big game of the week with Texas and UTSA, putting big money on that one. But, yeah, I think that we'll be here next week. It'll be interesting. We'll see how OU does in Lincoln. That'll be an interesting thing to watch.
Will be fun.
Close eye on that. So enjoy your week, guys. Everybody here at the St0ner Sports Podcast, keep your stick on the ice. We'll see you next week.